everyone, and welcome to Some Plus Cuisine. My name is Harper, if you did not know, and today I'm going to make for the first time in my life confit bialdi, aka the Ratatouille from the famous Pixar movie Ratatouille. So, like usual for these videos, of course, I will be filming the ups and the downs, the successes and the failures of me going through the process of making a recipe the first time in my life, first try by myself with a camera, and show you how it's like and hopefully entertain you guys on the way. And of course, at the end of the day, I'm going to see number 1, does the dish actually look good? Number 2, of course, does it taste good? And number 3, do I think it is worth your time? Plus, do I think the recipe is really good? I am using Binging with Babish's recipes, so of course I'll have the link of the recipe in the description down below. So when you check out there, and with that, let us begin. Okay, so I have the pot of water boiled, so I'm just cutting X's into the bottom of all of these tomatoes. I should have probably done this earlier, but I was busy preparing other stuff, and then before I knew it, the water was boiling. Sadly, the number of tomatoes I have are quite small. I'm hoping that's going to be okay in the long term, but I wanted to talk about that. Okay, hopefully that's lighter. Apologies for that. I'm not sure how dark it was, but I just glanced over at my thing and it looked pretty dark. So with that being said, I think these are almost done blanching. It's been a minute, so take them out real quick, and then I have some ice water right here, so I'm gonna toss that in. So more or less, these will start, cooling off while I start working on the bell peppers. So yeah, so far this recipe is pretty easy. It's just kind of like getting the mechanics down. So I'm pretty excited. I need to blacken the bell peppers. Just a minute. I have them right here. We have one red and one yellow. Again, they're smaller than Binging with Babish had, and I just think that's just because of the time of year that I'm in. The food's not as big, or we just bought small ones for some reason. But more or less, with that being said, I'm going to just toss this on the stove gingerly. I've never done this before, so this is going to be an exciting experience for you and for me. I'm usually not really good with burning stuff, so this is going to be fun. But I'm just going to wait until the bottom is burnt, and then we're going to flip it over and hope that's what we're supposed to be doing. A little backstory as I do this, because I want to talk about this, but Ratatouille, the movie, was literally the thing that got me into cooking. I used to watch that movie all the time when it came out. I don't think I watched it when it actually came out, in theaters. I watched it, a few weeks or months after when we got on DVD. But, I used to absolutely adore the movie. I used to watch it all the time on Saturdays. It used to be my thing. I went in the kitchen and would try to recreate Remy's soup. That was something that I just loved to do. And so I always wanted to make the premiere dish from this movie, but I always just had other things to do on the channel before this time. And then I was like, hey, oh, almost fell. Hey, why not do it now? Why not experience trying to make this right now? But I just want to say that because again, this movie, it means a lot to me, so I'm gonna really try to get the recipe right, because it's supposed to be really, really good, and I want to have a delicious dish that I'm proud of, and kind of honor my little I'm not sure how old I was, but my little tiny human self who used to love this movie. But more or less from there, I'm just going to continue blackening it, and I'll get back to you if anything interesting happens. Okay, so I do not know if I'm actually done, but I'm getting a little worried that I'm just burning everything at this point. So this one definitely looks pretty great. It's not blackened everywhere, but I think it's gonna be okay. And then this one is also pretty great too. So with that being said, I hope you can see that over here. I have the tin foil. I'm just going to place over everything. That looks good. So I'm gonna just let this, steam in its own, heat for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go over and start peeling everything and getting everything ready for the base of the ratatouille. I'm gonna call it ratatouille because I'm used to saying ratatouille. I know it's called confit bialdi, but I'm gonna call it ratatouille. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. But yeah. Okay, everyone, so we are back with a voiceover while I prep, the meal or like prep the vegetables or whatnot. There's a certain, I think style, or not style, but like name for what I'm doing, but I just can't think of what it is right now. But more or less, I feel like this has like become like my, I could say like lazy way to like show you guys what's happening, still like give you an over what's happening, but also like save you guys a couple of minutes of like watching a video and also save me a lot of time. But comment below if you like this idea or not, like of me doing voiceovers. That's a word. I've been doing a couple times in these videos, but I want to hear like what you guys think. Like, do you like these? Do you not like these? Let me know. But yeah, more or less, I just cut up all the vegetables. I was using a what's it called, like a shredder for a while, and then I realized that that thing was very dull and was not helping me at all, so I just started using a knife. And as you can see, like, a lot of the slices are quite big and thick, but I feel like it did work. It's just like there were so many issues with this recipe in the first place, as you'll hear while I talk about this, but more or less, like, the actual prep work of cutting the vegetables wasn't that very bad. It was just took forever, as usual. Okay, so I just finished up cutting the vegetables. Hopefully that doesn't, like mess up this recipe. Just to make like the base before you cut up the vegetables, but I think everything's gonna be okay. But more or less from there, let's see how these look. Okay, they're nice and soft, so my gamble hopefully paid off. So I think it's just to like peel the black stuff off. It's a little bit warm still, so I'm being super careful. We have our two bell peppers right here. They look really, really nice. They're a little bit warm when you touch them like that, so I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna bring you guys over to the blender, and then let's start making the base of this ratatouille. We have the bell peppers already tossed in, so I'm also gonna put in the tomatoes that we blanched. So I don't have rosemary, sadly. I couldn't find any. I thought we had some, but we don't. So I'm just putting more thyme than they asked for, and hopefully that will be okay. We have our garlic. Okay, so I completely forgot about the onion. I feel very dumb right now, so I'm gonna just cut up this onion real quickly, and then I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so we're back. So here is the onion. Then we have our vegetable stock. I'm using just like chicken bouillon with water because I didn't want to like buy vegetable stock for this. It's a little bit also a cup, so hopefully that will be okay. Then of course the water, which here it is. And then 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I haven't used this blender in absolutely forever, so this is gonna be a hot mess of an experience. But let's see, do I still know how to use it? I don't think I do. Okay, I do know how to use it. Okay, so definitely it doesn't look like what it did in the show and in Binging with Babish's thing, which is honestly incredibly worrying to look at. So let's just see how it tastes. It's very watery. I think I put too much water in it, which is definitely on me. I'm going to salt and pepper it because it definitely needs salt and pepper. Also, I'm very confused why it's a complete different color, more or less, than any other reference I've ever had of this recipe. So that is also kind of worrying. So I'm gonna say it's okay. I don't know if it's okay or not. It definitely tastes way better with more salt, but it's a little watery and it just tastes a little weird, but that might just be because that's how it's supposed to taste. So with that being said, I'm gonna bring this over and start assembling it. Okay, so I'm gonna be using 2 containers for this because I don't think this can this is too much for one. But with that being said, I'm just going to pour it on. That feels like half. And this feels like half. I want to start shingling. I do not know if they are thin enough. They probably are not thin enough, but we're just gonna go on from there. I don't really understand if I'm doing this right because, as you can probably see, the eggplant is quite larger than everything else. And I just feel like I did something wrong, you know, like something messed up. This is not gonna look even close to what it does in the movies, and that's okay. But with that being said, I'm just going to, you know, speed through this, get this done, and I'll get back to you when I am ready to talk again. Okay, so I am officially done with shingling. I have to say that this is absolutely horrible. Like, I do not like how this turned out. I do not know what went wrong. I don't know why, like, my eggplant, like, is so humongous versus everything else, because, I'm gonna look at the video again, but I'm pretty sure, like, everybody else's, their eggplants are, like, small. We definitely got, like, the smallest eggplants we could, so either, like, I'm going crazy, or like I just messed up, but like I honestly do not know what happened. I also don't know like why I have so many like ingredients left. Like I have a lot of squash and like a lot of eggplant and like even more like green squash left. So like again, I don't know why that is. Also like tasting like, you know, the actual like, you know, batter stuff made me incredibly worried too. So I'm honestly not that excited to see how this tastes, which really makes me sad because I was incredibly excited to make this dish. If you guys have any suggestions why this went wrong, please let me know. These are the biggest, you know, plates, you know, not plates, but like pans I could get. So like honestly, I just don't know what happened, and yeah, at this point I just have to like let it cook and hope that it tastes better than it looks. Okay, so the, you know, parchment paper is a little bit, you know, wonky, but I'm gonna say it's okay. So I'm gonna toss these in the oven, and I'll see you guys back in the next clip, aka for me, around an hour and a half. So with that, yeah, wish me luck. Okay, so we have the ratatouille. The other one is actually in the oven. I'm only talking about one right now because honestly, I am just so done with this recipe at this point. It was cooked way longer than the recipe said it was, because when it came out, it was just like super just watery and horrible. And then my battery died, so then I had to like, you know, charge the battery. So then I just let it, you know, broil, and then it just like sat in the oven for a couple of minutes. So it's definitely like, you know, it's dried out, you could say more, but I call that a win because before it was literally just like half water. So personally, I think it looks way better than it did before. So with that being said, I'm gonna grab a plate. I think I'm doing this at the wrong time of year, you know? So all the vegetables that I'm using, they're, how do I say this? They're like not, you know, ready enough. The zucchinis and the tomatoes and the squash, you know, they're all like undersized, whereas, you know, the eggplants are just like regular sized, and so that means that you're getting like these, you know, the weird configuration that I did get. Whereas like, you know, in Bitchy Bitch Babish and also like in the actual movie, all the vegetables were the same size, and I'm not sure why I didn't think about that when I was like shopping, but I didn't, and so now we're dealing with this. So with that being said, you know, it's not perfect, and I'm not sure if I'll like this or not, but you know, I'm going to try to at least enjoy it in some way. Okay, so hopefully you can see my face because again, the stupid lighting is weird. Honestly, I just had to look up like how to figure out like the white balance of this camera because honestly, it just irritated me at this point. More or less, with that being said, we have our dish. I am just really tired right now. I'm running low on energy, and I am just not feeling well. So I am a little bit lower energy than I usually would be for this. But with that being said, we're just going to get some right here. It looks pretty hot, so hopefully this doesn't, you know, burn my mouth off, because then I will be very, very sad. But let's see. I think this might be my first time that I cannot finish a recipe, like, at all. Like, not a recipe, sorry, a meal at all. This is over seasoned, and not in a good way. It is too salty and it is too peppery, and it does not taste that good. The vegetables are fully cooked, whereas, well, actually the eggplant's a little bit weird and rubbery, but the other vegetables are perfectly cooked. They're nice and crispy, but they're also perfectly, done. So that's really nice. Nothing's, mushy, except, of course, the eggplants are kind of mushy, but I think they're like, they're eggplants, so maybe they should be mushy. But the thing that I have most issue is the fact that this thing is literally too salty. And that's coming from somebody who absolutely loves salt. And that's probably because I overly salted it in both the sauce process when everything was like, watery and weird and bland, but also in, when I was about to put it in the oven, I also salted and peppered it again. And that did not help this recipe at all. I also just feel like it's just something that I don't really like, and I should have already known this, honestly. Like, I know what I like when it comes to like vegetables, when it comes to like food and all that, but I had hopes because I absolutely loved the movie and I really wanted to like do this because it was kind of like a dream of mine to do this for this channel. But I really don't really like, squash and eggplant like this. I like eggplant parmesan and I like, squash and zucchinis and all that, like grilled up with like potatoes and other things and all that. I think I like them as like co-stars to a meal instead of like the main dish of the meal. And I feel like that's an issue. But like the biggest issue I have with the dish, honestly, is just the fact that it is too salty. And that is 100% on me. And also the lighting just went really down because of the sun. So I apologize about that too. Again, I feel like I'm more devastated by this dish mostly because, this was like a dream of me to do and I'm feeling my dreams being shattered, so that's not fun. But yeah, I don't like it. I really don't like it. And I think it's mostly because of me, because of the time of year, because of my issues with putting too much water in the already very watery dish when it comes to like, making the sauce base, whatever it's called, on the bottom. Me overly salting it, me overly peppering it, it just doesn't taste really good. Thankfully, my mom likes it for some reason, so she will have it. This will not be wasted. But for me, I don't like it. I am really not happy to say this is a 1 when it comes to my rating. 1 out of 10, 1 being it's terrible, I can't even finish it. 10 being it's amazing, it blew me away, I want to have it again and again and again. I don't want to say it's a 1, but I feel like the way that I describe a 1 being it's so bad, therefore I cannot finish it, I feel like that's where I am. And again, that's mostly just because of me. It's not because of the recipe. Only I have to say, I have made Binging with Babish recipes 3 times now, and I love the channel. I love, I love Andrew, I love what he's doing with Sola, I love, his videos, I'm an avid subscriber. I started watching him like years ago and I'm a huge supporter of him. But for some reason I've never had luck with his recipes, which really hurts for me more than anything else because I just adore the channel so much. But yeah, I feel like, in the right conditions without like a freak out over seasoning situation, it would be okay. It would be a good thing. And of course, also, if you like these vegetables as a main meal, it will be really, really good. But for me, I don't really like it. I never talk about why, so I don't want to repeat myself over again. But yeah, so I feel like this is a fail. And then maybe in a couple of years when I'm out of ideas, I'll revisit this dish and try it over again and hopefully do a better job. But with that being said, that is all for today. So of course, if you like this video, click a like. If you want to see more from Watch, just subscribe. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I will see you next time. And as usual, goodbye.